The assembly being worked on is called a magnetic clutch. We offer a wide range of these devices in our catalog. We also offer modified versions to meet specific customer needs. The first subassembly shown is called the slide coupling shaft assembly. This is a free gear that rides on the input shaft and can freely move up and down the shaft with a spring providing resistance to hold it in place. It consists of a shaft, a slide coupling, which has gear teeth cut in the front face of it, as well as spring, pressed pin, and C-clip to hold everything in place. The sliding coupling shaft assembly gets placed into the rear end cap with the addition of shims, which can be fine-tuned to adjust the voltages that the full assembly engages and disengages at. The shaft assembly is then locked to the rear end cap with the use of a retaining clip. This process is then repeated for the fixed coupling shaft assembly, which gets locked into the front end cap. The fixed coupling shaft assembly also consists of a shaft and a coupling with gear teeth cut into the face, but with the coupling being locked to the shaft rather than sliding about it freely. Shims can be adjusted on this side as well to adjust the engagement and disengagement voltages of the full assembly. The main housing assembly consists of the housing and the coil assembly, which gets installed into the housing using two spiral retaining rings, one on each side. The wires within the coil then get soldered to the terminals, which protrude through the housing. This allows the customer to energize the assembly by applying power and ground to these two terminals. The two shaft sub-assemblies are then installed into the housing assembly and held in place with the use of machine screws and lock washers. During testing, the device is tested to determine the voltages that engages the two couplings. This is then fine-tuned by adding or removing shims to the shaft assemblies if necessary to meet customer specifications. When the assembly is not energized, only the input shaft will rotate. This is because there is a slight gap between the slide coupling and fixed coupling gear faces. When power is applied to the terminals, the current running through the coils in the housing creates a magnetic force. This force pulls the sliding coupling towards the center of the assembly, overpowering the spring, resulting in the sliding coupling to match with the fixed coupling. When these two couplings mate, the gear teeth on the faces of them lock together. This causes the input and output shaft to rotate as one, as if it were a straight-through shaft. This device is great for applications that require two shafts to be able to move freely from each other, but also be able to rotate together when necessary. All you must do is apply a low voltage to the assembly and the shafts will lock together. Power the device on and off as your application needs. This is just one of the many complex assemblies offered in our catalog. Our engineering team is up to the challenge of any complex assembly you can think of, and we can design, manufacture, assemble, and test it all in-house at Designatronics.